Oh, is my head cut off? Probably. My name is Sheridan Ann, and I'm here to tell you why I still support Fair Oaks Farms. So, I imagine there's about 3 reasons that you are watching this video, or like you fall into one of these categories. Number 1 is that you've been following the Fair Oaks Farms investigation, and you're just curious what I had to say. Number 2 is that maybe you support agriculture and you're curious about what I have to say. And the third category is that you don't support animal agriculture and you are curious about what I have to say. So if you don't know me and you've stumbled on my channel, my name is Sheridan Ann. I literally just recently graduated from Purdue University in May, so literally a month ago. I graduated with a degree in agricultural communication. However, I did not grow up on a farm. I did show in 4-H. As you can see, there's some photos of me showing cows in the background here. So yes, I did do 4-H. I was also a member of FFA, but I did not grow up on a farm. I did find my path to the ag industry, where I found agriculture communication and decided to major and study that, and it didn't change at all throughout college. I did, however, add 2 minors, which consisted of animal science and creative writing. So I'd say that my college experience and my education is a pretty good variety, a good mixture, and I felt a responsibility and the annoying, opinionated person that I am, just a personal obligation to share this message and share my perspective of the Fair Oaks investigation as an agricultural communicator. So let me start with the actual video. Yes, I watched it. I watched the short version. I did not watch the hour-long documentary that ARM released. It was hard to watch. I definitely don't condone what happened. It was awful. It was. It should never have happened. And I hate that it happened, especially because I am from Indiana. Fair Oaks Farms is essentially in my backyard when it comes to my Purdue home. It's super close. It's in northern Indiana. And I have used Fair Oaks as really like almost a role model for animal agriculture and animal agritourism as far as sustainability and education and community outreach. All of those factors, I hold Fair Oaks to a very high standard, and I still do. So it was hard for me to watch that video and see something so awful taking place in my home state. I also got emotional watching that video for a different reason than the animal cruelty that was taking place. I got emotional because I have first-hand knowledge of Animal Recovery Mission and how ruthless they are to cause a scene for animal agriculture. So let me explain. I had the opportunity to attend an animal rights conference a few years ago, and I took the opportunity and I attended a session that was being held or hosted or led by ARM, Animal Recovery Mission. And I sat in on that session and listened to them talk about how they would use drone technology to illegally view animal operations. I listened to them talk about how they could disguise their cameras using like natural brush and leaves and things like that. I listened to them talk about trespassing on property, and I very vividly remember in that moment thinking, oh my gosh, there are such extremes that individuals will go to do this, to harm a business, to harm livelihoods of people because they think they're helping animals. And I say think that they're helping because they might think that what they're doing is good, but how do they hold on to that footage for so long? That bothers me. It bothers me that as a communicator, I can look at the videos they released and view it as more of a marketing campaign than a call to action to improve animal welfare. And if they're so concerned about animal rights and animal health and well-being and proper care of animals, this wouldn't look like a marketing campaign. It would look like a call to action to fix the problem, not to shut down a business. And that is why I got emotional. On top of seeing the animal cruelty that did take place, I got emotional watching that video because they weren't just attacking the individuals who so wrongly mistreated those animals. They were attacking an industry that feeds people, provides an income for families, and creates very, very passionate, well-meaning livelihoods and jobs. In a roundabout way, I watched that video and see them attack an industry and almost feel personally attacked because I spent 4 years learning how to talk about agriculture and understand the processes of raising animals and producing crops. So yes, I got emotional because I do not condone animal cruelty and animal abuse in any shape or form at all. But I definitely don't condone someone attacking an industry. And that's what I saw throughout this whole process. That's what I have seen, a marketing campaign to hurt the dairy industry. And you can call me biased, you can say that I'm viewing it from that side of the aisle or whatever you want to say, but I'm going to critique Fair Oaks' responses too, because if you watched some of their videos, it looks very teleprompted, okay? So bear with me, okay? Bear with me if you think that I'm going on about like, oh, ag is so good, because we have a lot of things to fix. How ironic is it that they released these videos in June, which is also National Dairy Month? Why didn't they release them in December or January? They've had these footage. It doesn't take that long to edit videos, really. If you wanted it to be public and you wanted to cause harm and fix the problem, that should really have been their goal, right? To fix the problem, not to cause harm to a business. They would have released it as soon as they possibly humanly could. But instead, they waited until June, Dairy Month. They waited. They waited until the industry was showing their face on social media to release these videos and to hammer it to the ground. I find that ironic. Of course I would target during the time that they're putting attention on the industry. If you wanted something negative, wouldn't that be the time to do it? Yeah, some good marketing tactic, right? It also is a really good marketing tactic to target an operation that not only produces milk and other products, but has an agritourism sector where thousands of families and children go to get an ag education because there's a lack thereof in the education system. They go there to get hands-on experience and to see what animal agriculture and crop production looks like. Why wouldn't they target an operation that does that? And why wouldn't they target an operation that has ties to places like Coca-Cola? It's marketing to me. That is how I see it as someone who has a background in communications. And that rubs me the wrong way. Because if you are a true animal rights activist who maybe is trying to promote not eating and consuming and buying animal products, wouldn't your first goal be to catch the negative action and then fix the problem? How does that not make sense? It really rubs me the wrong way that I can view this video release as a campaign against an industry rather than a call to action to fix the animal welfare problems that still exist. There's a big difference between animal welfare and animal rights, and I know that. But if you have any sort of desire to fix and help animals, to fix the situation and help animals, why would you wait? Why would you wait to put this public? And why not try to help fix the problem than to hurt a reputation? Because that's what they've done. I told you, I have held Fair Oaks to a very high standard since I knew of its existence. I admired the way that they educated the public and engaged with the public with their hands-on exhibits. But to watch their reputation completely drop like that because of one video of an isolated case with employees who were 3 out of 4 had been fired way before these videos were released. How does that add up? How is this making a positive difference for animal agriculture and animals' lives if that is supposed to be your goal? I don't see it as that being your end idea here. You're just trying to stop people from buying dairy. That's how I see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but when I look at the evidence and I look at the timing and I look at the way that these videos were released, I see a marketing campaign. Now, when I look at the way that Fair Oaks has responded to this, it's been pretty good. They knew about this undercover employee a long time ago, and in like April of last year released a video talking about their transparency as an operation. Since the videos have been released, they've released multiple statements and multiple videos talking about the actions they're taking to improve their operation. Should ARM have been the ones to know that this was happening? No. Fair Oaks employees and Fair Oaks management and Fair Oaks founders and board of directors and however their operation is run, those should have been the people to catch what was going on, not an undercover investigator. However, I can respect the way that they're approaching their responses and how frequently they're telling people what's going on. They have opened up their phone lines and their email addresses for people to probably send them a lot of hate, if we're being honest, and to ask questions and, you know, be genuinely concerned as well, but I'm sure they've received so many awful responses. There's a couple issues I have noticed too. The biggest red flag that I have seen is that after this incident took place, Fair Oaks has made their Instagram account private. To me, that's a really, really touchy thing to do. It's not a good look to put your stuff private after something like this. Crisis communication is a big deal, and they've handled it mostly, you know, elegantly, but to put one of their accounts private, I was like, that might not be the best idea, because then people are going to think poorly than they already are. And then, yes, some of the videos were like slightly looked teleprompty, but when you are doing this crisis management on something so crazy and awful that has happened for your operation, yeah, of course you've got to make sure it's a little scripted. So ultimately, I appreciate what they've done and how responsive they've been to their loyal customers and also to people who are questioning their operation. I know there's a lot of questions surrounding this investigation. The timing just seems off to me. They should have released it so much sooner if their goal was to put animal cruelty to an end. Why would they release it for June Dairy Month? Why would they wait until that month to put it out? It's ironic. And why did they target the dairy side of Fair Oaks? Fair Oaks does more than the dairy adventure. There's a hidden agenda here, I think. And I'm sorry if you don't agree. I respect that you may not agree. But for someone who so deeply respects and supports this industry and plans to make her livelihood off of supporting and loving and valuing what it means to raise livestock and produce products that provide so many great nutritional benefits to people, it's hard for me to not be offended by the way that they approach the situation. And I thank Fair Oaks for standing up for themselves as much as they can, and also for Fairlife, who's not pulling Fair Oaks as a supplier. I've been buying their milk. I think it's funny because the ag industry, so many people started buying the Fairlife product after this happened. I bet that they've probably seen some pushback, but I bet based on the ag community and the things I've seen on Twitter and Instagram, people are buying Fairlife. It's a farmer's worst nightmare to think that you're putting trust into an employee to take care of your animal. It's hard. I can't imagine hiring an individual just to see that they are mistreating the most valuable thing you have on your operation, which is your animals. It doesn't add up. I'm sure the feeling of betrayal from hiring someone to trust them with your livestock, but then to hire someone who you think is a great fit, but then turns out to completely bash your operation and your business and the people who work there and the community involved. I watched that video, and not only were they going after the dairy, they were going after my state in a strange way. They put in there the use of narcotics, and I have seen how much Indiana has been struggling with drug abuse. it's just, I don't understand what their motive was behind this when they're supposed to be an animal recovery organization. Why are they hurting so many people? I don't get it. I don't get it. And as an ag communicator, it just proves to me why my job is so more important than I give myself credit for doing. So, it's crazy. It is crazy. The dynamic online, the dynamic with in-person relationships, and this awful war that we have between being an animal producer and being an animal activist. Why I know there's no middle ground between those two because they're completely on the end of the spectrum. But if you really care about the animals, there's a way that we can work out this problem together. And even if our end goals are different, we're really not that much different. We're not. Like, the animal rights movement and the animal agriculture industry have a lot more in common than most people would think. And that's another topic for another day that maybe I'll dive into. As I watch this investigation unfold, all I can hope is that the people who watch this video and who are following this investigation look at it with an open perspective, not a stubborn mind, because this incident does not represent the animal agriculture industry. It does not represent the dairy industry. It does not represent the employees who work on dairy operations. And it doesn't represent my state and the people who live here. Not at all. So I don't know if this message was super clear. It's something that I've wanted to talk about, but I was struggling with how to put it on camera. And I think that's just how it had to come out, a little bit scattered, a little bit raw and emotional and angry and however else I'm feeling right now, because I've seen so many undercover investigations, but to see one so close to home at an operation and an agritourism destination that I find so much value in, it's rough. It is rough to see some of your Facebook friends go bashing this place and this location and to not take it personally. Because only 2% of our great country has a tie to agriculture. Only 2% work in agriculture. 98% are disconnected. And it is 100% fair for someone to watch these images and to think poorly of animal agriculture. That's understandable. I just hope that somehow, despite the awful thing that happened and the people who deserve to be prosecuted, I know they've gotten one, I just hope that despite all of that, you can look past it and see the serious hard work and passion and dedication and love that goes into raising animals for food production. Because it's not easy, it's not glamorous, there are days that suck, and I'm not to the point where I am raising my own animals. Someday I'm gonna have my own beef herd, and I can't even fathom what it would be like to have someone attack my operation, no matter how big or small it was. That's your life. Those are your animals. They're like family, and yeah, it sucks that you have to end up putting them off to slaughter someday, but that's just how we've done it. We've domesticated these animals. What would happen if we didn't produce them anymore? They'd go extinct. I don't know. Now I'm on my soapbox, but I hope you can respect my opinion and where I'm coming from, and I absolutely respect where you're coming from as well if you don't agree with me, because it's not an easy topic. And everyone has different values and opinions and preferences and perspectives. So if you don't agree, that's fine. I just hope that if you watched and listened to this whole message that I have shared with you, that you at least can see where I'm coming from as someone who is in the industry but who didn't grow up in it. We have work to do. And my call to action is that I will continue to share the accurate story of agriculture, but I will also continue to push the people I know in agriculture to do better for themselves and for the consumers and for the industry and for the animals, because there's always a place to improve. Shortcuts aren't okay. Abuse is not okay. You know, nutrition is the end goal here, and food is a controversial topic. As an ag communicator, as a girl from Indiana, as someone who has fallen in love with being part of the agriculture industry, thank you so much for watching. Go drink a glass of chocolate milk or almond milk or oat milk or whatever kind of milk you want to drink, preferably one that comes from animals. But if not, I appreciate your business anyway, because almond growers are super awesome too.